All right, welcome everybody. You are here for Windward System 5 lighting showroom software. This is going to be a live demo and a Q&A session. We're going to tell you a little bit about Windward software as we go along here. The main thing is Windward software has supported the lighting industry since 1984, and we're actually celebrating our 40th year in business this year. We believe in helping showrooms, showroom owners specifically, keep current with the changes to the lighting industry. And we believe that showrooms need to stay ahead of technology advances to survive and grow. And you're going to see some of the technology that we have available upcoming. We believe that good tools can not only help your bottom line, but also help you improve your work-life balance. And we've been helping showrooms manage the industry changes for, well, forgot to update that slide, 40 years now. So about Windward software, we make business management software for lighting showrooms just like yours. We're an integrated solution providing point of sale, inventory management, purchasing and fulfillment, accounting, both sides of that, accounts payable and accounts receivable. And then we have e-commerce and cataloging functions available as well. Our motto is helping you run your business instead of just reporting on it. Today we have Sean McAfee, who's going to be your presenter. He's a business developer with Windward Software. He's been helping out here for over 15 years. Sean, this is your agenda. Nice take it away, man.
Good to speak with you, everyone. Nice to speak to you on our 40th year in business here. So some of you may have seen our demonstrations before. Some things will be familiar, some things will be a little bit new. But on the agenda today, we're going to try to cover the basics, get kind of a good flow of what Windward can do and how it can help your business, and talk to you a bit about where we're going as a company here at the very end of the demonstration. So our starting point will be where everything starts, and that is at the point of sale. We're going to talk about the basics of how to ring in a sale, some of our specific lighting features for inventory. We'll talk a bit about how you can stage and you can handle your house build orders by room locations and tagging and shipping labels, that type of thing. We're going to go over the difference about how Windward can handle retail and contractors. We're also going to touch on a bit about wholesale. It may not be very obvious as we're in this demonstration today, but Windward is able to handle even a wholesale component on top of your whole contractor side of business and retail, which will dovetail us straight into how we manage orders, you know, specifically special orders and getting those housing builds fulfilled. From there, we're going to seamlessly move into purchasing and kind of go over how you don't have to use, printouts and paper or convoluted ways of tracking your special orders, and how you can meld that into creating a PO and how you can consolidate those POs. We'll manage those orders, we'll receive those orders, and then we'll fulfill. We'll talk a bit about how we invoice and what that ties into on the accounting side of our business and our accounts receivable. The thing about Windward is we are a fully integrated software solution. So we try to handle the management of your business from the front of the house to the back of your house. And the whole point of that is to eliminate work on your side of things, to try to get rid of double entry, to try to get rid of those mistakes that come up from too many people doing too many things, and to make things as seamless and smooth as possible. At the very end of the demonstration, we're going to dovetail into our industry partnerships, a bit about who we work with. We're going to talk to you about existing relationships we have with companies like Exologic and Lights America, and how their cataloging and wish list tools tie into Windward software, how they can be a benefit, where they show up. And while I don't necessarily have demos of those two products open today, I'll try to point that out during the demonstration, where at which point those tools can tie into us. And finally, we're going to talk a bit about where we're going as a company, and that will be our Windward Intelligence reporting platform, but also something a little bit newer over here, our Windward Sidekick tool, which is starting to bring Windward into really the mobile age of mobile order building and part lookup, and just changing the dynamic of how you work with people in your showroom today, or whether you're out in the field. So without further ado, I will take us into the demonstration and start showing some things regarding our software. Okay, so this is Windward System 5. And as you can see right now, I got a big logo on the screen saying 40 years. Yes, we've been in business since 1984, which means we're not going anywhere. One of the key things about business software that we don't talk about near enough is stability. You want to have a solution and a provider that has tenure in the industry, that knows the industry, and that has stability that isn't going to go somewhere different the next week, the next month, the next year even. People don't want to be switching software every day. And Windward's been doing this for 40 years. We're not going anywhere. So now to actually talk about the software. This is the software in a very kind of generic demonstration format set up for, let's call it, Sean's lighting showroom. Part of what you get when you go on board with Windward is the ability to work with an implementer, a trainer, if you will, to configure the software for your business. We have all types of showrooms using our software today. We have showrooms that are more retail focused. We have showrooms that are more contractor focused. We have showrooms that do a little bit of everything. They may be handling electrical supply quite a bit. We do work with electrical supply businesses as well too, or plumbing, or even hardware. So when you purchase our software, the very first thing you do is you meet with an implementer, and we kind of get to know you and get to know your business and what that makeup's going to look like. So the software you're seeing today is generic towards the lighting showroom, and it's been set up so I can demonstrate the software to you. But keep in mind, when you log in or when your employees log in, they may not see the things that you have on the screen today. So for example, an employee is not going to have access to your general ledger if you don't want them to. And they're going to have their own customizable shortcuts at the top to be able to get to where they need to go. So as I mentioned at the very beginning of that agenda, we're going to talk about the basics first. And the basics are how to look up a customer, how to ring in an order, and just kind of do the basic things that you would do every day in the business. So I'm actually going to start somewhere a little bit different today. I want to talk about customers before I start ringing in an order. Okay. So customers really can be looked up very easily. You can look them up by name, by phone number, by account. Now, this is very basic. You would expect a lot of different companies to be able to do this, but where this pertains to the lighting showroom and the lighting industry is you have the ability of doing a couple of things. First, you can look a customer up, obviously by their name. So if I type in Smith, I'm going to bring up Smith Construction, but you also have the ability to look a customer up by the job that they're working on. So if they have a different job they're working on, I could have typed in 123 South Street and Smith Construction would have came up as well as that address that it's shipping to. A customer record is pretty much everything that is about that customer. So I am going to go into Smith Construction. And this might seem like there's a lot of information there, but really by double clicking on their name, you could see everything you want about them. I'm adding in a different contact. I can see their phone numbers, different email addresses. I can see if they've got any specialized pricing. So we do have the ability in the software to set up different price schedules for customers, credit limits. We can set up contract pricing. So if you have any builders that are currently doing a large build and are going to be purchasing certain products from you for a period of time, that can be set up. We have features like standing POs for your regular contractors that come in and you have to always have a PO number. We can force that. There's a lot of information available here. You can take a look at previous invoices, past purchases, but the point is, by simply typing in a customer name, I can bring up everything about them easily and be able to know everything about what that customer is doing. We'll get back to more of this later on. Now, let's move on again to the basics. Let's ring in a sale. So I'm going to click on New Sale. In our demonstration today, we can start a sale off as an estimate. We can start off as a cash sale. I'm deliberately doing this particular transaction as a quick, fast cash sale. This is for my retail people. Okay, so anyone who has someone comes into the store, they're buying a lamp, they're buying a fixture, you want to ring them in quickly. This is how you would do it. There's no kind of headache to it. Now, there are a lot of settings in Windward software, a lot of things that can be turned on or off, and you're probably seeing some fields here that you probably want to talk about. Jobs, for example, might be one, and we'll get back to that. In our software today, I can ring in an order without forcing a customer name. That's a setting. So you could choose to have the software force a customer, or you can look up a customer by clicking in their name here. Click on OK. Now I'm on a laptop right now, sitting in my office. If I were to, I don't have a barcode scanner attached to my computer, but if I did have a barcode scanner, one of the things you can do right here, right now, is just scan the barcode that you have either printed off yourself or your manufacturer's barcode, and it will bring the inventory item up for you. So you don't have to necessarily type in a part number or description. Or if you don't have a barcode on the product you're about to sell, you can type in the item number or part number, or type in a partial description. For example, if I type in fan, it's going to bring up anything with the word fan in it. I click on it, and we have yet another feature that comes up, popping up in front of us. Now again, remember, I mentioned earlier on that Windward is configurable. So every business is a little bit different. So one of the features we've turned on here is called keywords or room locations. So you do have the ability of tagging every individual line with an individual room location something is going into. Now today for our demonstration, I have child room 1, child room 2, dining room, kitchen, but that could be whatever you want to be, and you can add new ones on the fly if you'd like. Or you can ignore it, which I'm going to because this is a cash sale. This pop-up that you saw happen right there does not actually have to pop up either. You can have it where it doesn't pop up, but you simply go into the room column and type in the information you're looking to add, or maybe you hit that keyword button down below and have it happen as well. So right now, I've literally opened up a cash sale. I've scanned an item or typed in the word fan, whichever way you want to go at it, okay? And I'm now hitting tender. That's how quick it is, and taking money. And that's a sale. That's all it takes to do a sale in Windward software. Now, a couple things that you may want to ask regarding, taking money. Do we have the ability to run credit cards through our software? Yes, we do. Now, obviously for the demonstration today, I don't have a credit card machine attached to the computer, but if you were to double click on Amex, for example, and you did, you would see the option coming up to either type in a credit card number or to process a credit card through a black box. Now, that will lead you probably to another question. A lot I get asked quite often is, do you have the ability to store credit cards in the system? Well, we have the ability to store credit card tokens in the system, meaning you can capture a card and run that card repeatedly as required for that customer. So if a customer does call up and say, hey, I need XYZ product, you can actually ring it in, and then you ask the customer if they want you to use the token on file or the card on file for a transaction. From here, all you have to do is hit save, and you can email a copy of the invoice to the customer. Our invoices are customizable. So what you see here is just, again, a very generic setup, something we've configured for demonstration purposes, but you are going to have your own logo on the item. You will be able to set up what your invoices look like. They could be slip receipts, they could be full form printouts. It's really up to you. And that's all configurable in the back end of the software. And part of our implementation and training package is setting that up for you. Okay, now we're going to move on. What we're going to do here is we're going to go in and create an estimate first. I'm going to go a little bit off track and start digging into the software and talking about different features and things that we do. Okay, so we're going to dig in actually into an individual inventory item and talk a bit about how we can catalog items and how that works. We're going to build up a sales work order for you, and then we're going to create a special order request for an item that we don't have in stock. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of features I'm tossing at you all right now. If there's anything you want to know more about in specific for me to go individually with you on, after demonstration today, we will have some contact information. Give me a call. We can schedule kind of a one-on-one to go deeper into anything you see here today. So once again, we're going to click on New Sale. Pretty simple. And we're going to hit Estimate. Now, for the sake of this, I am going to choose a customer again, Smith's Construction. Pretty quick and easy. If I hit Find Customer, if you remember that lookup screen I saw beforehand, looking up a customer, I can do that. I could actually attach a job at this point as well. So if you do have a customer that has multiple work orders or multiple invoices in play, doing a large job, you do have the ability to tag job numbers into this at this point, or once you're in the actual estimate, you can tag a job number as well. That will be listed right up here with attached jobs. Okay, so for this one, I'm actually going to start layering on some different items. We're going to have a different ship to address. So I can create at this point a second customer account for shipping, or I can just type something in. I'm going to type in Jim Andrews. Just trying to keep this simple for demonstration today. So now we have the Smith Construction is doing the work. Jim Andrews is the person it's being shipped to. You can see here we have a button for shipping container label or shipping print labels. This starts giving you the idea that when you actually do build this out further to a sales order or a invoice, you will be able to print off labels pertaining to shipping products. So you're kind of seeing right here the glimpse of what happens down the road. Now we also have the ability in the software to schedule deliveries. So you may want to use the delivery scheduler to kind of help coordinate what date this product has to be delivered by as well at this point. So again, we're on an estimate at the moment. You don't necessarily need to do that. Okay, we're going to add a couple items on here. So I'm just going to hit the letter B and let's start looking some things up simply. And we're going to talk about a bit about what we're seeing here today. Okay, so we mentioned earlier on that I would talk a bit about Lights America, and I would talk a little bit about Exologic as well too as we're going through the demonstration. And you're starting to see Exologic possibly come into play at this point as well as our virtual warehouse. So I've hit the letter B, and I brought up a list of inventory items that kind of have either B and this part number in some way, shape, or form, or it's kind of linking it together. Items that are close to that. And on top here, you're seeing items in white. Those items in white are products that you've ordered before. You may not have them in stock today, but you've ordered them before. Okay. The ones in gray are items that are cataloged. So below that, we have a list of items that I maybe have never ordered before, but maybe I've gotten an order or a catalog from, in this case, Quoizel. And I know I could order this from Quoizel. These are stored in what we call a virtual warehouse. So without leaving the software, I can take a look in my virtual warehouse and go, oh, well, I can order this part number from Quoizel, and I can start building that out and put that on the quote. So yes, you do have the ability of uploading your catalogs into our software and uploading your pricing into our software as well for any price changes or kind of controlling your margins and that type of thing. Another thing you might be seeing on the screen at the moment is this little question mark. The items that have question marks have a little icon on the side. These are kits. So what these are, it's more than one item. So bath set is a couple of products tied together. And if I select it, it's going to put that on the quote, and it's going to show me when I hit that question mark how many I actually have in stock. So I'm going to click on one, click OK, hit bathroom, and put these items on. So these are all, as you saw there at the question mark, I could make 16 of these kits, but that bath set are these fixtures that we have here. And now I'm also going to throw an item that I don't have in stock. Actually, I'm going to throw an item on that I can sell more of. 1 second here. Put the fan. We're going to say that we need 100 of these fans. Why you would ever put 100 in a bathroom, I don't know, but we're just trying to show how this works. So I've built out now here a quote for the customer. And at this point, I could walk away from this quote. Okay, or I can decide to turn it into a sales order if the customer gives me the go-ahead, or I can negotiate. So a couple things to point out before I flip this into a sales order and go down that pipeline is about a couple things to talk about are maybe about pricing and about how the inventory features work. So let's talk pricing first. Right now, you're seeing a list price column and a price column, okay? The difference being, if there was a discount for Smith Construction on these products, those numbers would be different. So automatically by selecting a customer, you can give them their preferred pricing. You can also make exceptions to their pricing. So if, let's say, a customer were to get a certain discount on lighting fixtures, but maybe they don't get it on bulbs, the bulbs will reflect a discount, but the lighting fixtures reflect a discount, but the bulbs would not. That can all be controlled just by simply adding the customer to sale. You can also start negotiating on bidding on pricing. So if you're actually doing a bid process and you want to look at your margins, you can easily on the fly tell what your actual percentage of profit is. So you can start making better decisions with the person you're negotiating with onto how much you can discount something by. So in this case, on this estimate, my profit is $17,156. I have a 66.67 gross profit margin if I were to make the sale with the products I have here today. So I can now make better decisions about what that pricing looks like. Now, we're going to leave this estimate where it is. And again, I want to go down the rabbit hole and talk about something a little bit different. I'd like to talk a bit about Exologic. Some of you today, or Lights America. So some of you today, as I'm clicking on that, bear with me. Some of you today are using programs like Exologic, Lights America to build up your wish list. You're going onto their websites, you're grabbing the items you need, and you're building it up first. In our software, you could go and keep doing that. You can go build up those wish lists, build up those estimates, and then submit them in the Windward. And where they would show up is here. After they are created, they will load automatically into Windward software, and they will come into our software as an estimate. You just hit submit in XO or submit in Lights America, and it will populate down in Windward. So those wish lists can still be generated as you're doing it today if you're using those platforms in Exologic or Lights America, and they will simply come into Windward and they will be able to be reviewed, and then you'll be able to take forward from there. I apologize, I'm gonna have to pin my taskbar, so bear with me for a moment. Kind of embarrassing in a webinar as it is, but didn't know it was gonna do that. We adjust on the fly. We'll leave the taskbar up. There we go. Okay, so again, those estimates can be brought down into Windward, and you can start off with Exologic and Lights America right here at this point where you review it, and then you decide to yourself, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go forward and turn this into an actual sales order where I can start allocating inventory, staging, and getting this built ready. And all you have to do is flip something to a work order or to a sales order, is click two buttons, invoice type, work order. Now, a work order in Windward is really not an invoice. It's not an estimate. It's kind of something in between. What a work order allows you to do, it allows you to basically tell your software, hey, this inventory is spoken for. I need this inventory, specifically for Smith Construction and this this build that we're doing. So it's going to take that inventory and it's going to keep it in stock because you haven't sold it yet, but it's going to basically make it available for that customer to basically, let's allocate it specifically for that customer. Okay, so, and it's going to go through every single line. So all these items are now allocated to this work order, but it's looking at the one line that I don't have enough in stock. So this brass halogen fan, it's saying, Sean, you don't have this. What do you want to do? Now, a lot of customers today, if they're using something like QuickBooks or something a little bit entry level, QuickBooks will allow them to kind of, do that stage work order, but this is where things start to get a little bit better. Windward has some very specific functionality for lighting showrooms. First off, you can tell to back order or oversell, or you can special order, which is what we're going to talk about, or steal, okay, the inventory. Now, what does all this mean? Well, back order will tell a purchaser to go order this in. Oversell is basically your button to hit with, yeah, I've got this already, the software's wrong, I want to sell it anyways, and it'll put you into a negative. Special order will tell the customer, it will tell the purchaser to order it in specifically for this customer. So this will start the communication with the purchasing department, and we are going to take this from here to purchasing in a moment. Stealing is another lighting specific feature. What it will do is it will look at all your other open sales work orders, okay? And it will then go and bring that in, take a look and see what you can bring in for that customer, okay, from those work orders, and then it will prompt a back order to kind of replenish what you've stolen. So sometimes in a lighting showroom, someone will literally go to the back and know they have a housing building build down the road, and they will go and take something and just go sell it today over the counter. And then they don't inform anyone that they've done this. Well, this feature will let them do that, but will make sure you can go and reorder that product in. Right now today, we're going to click on special order. Okay, so here we have a pop-up screen, and we can see, okay, you need 100 of these. You have 50 in stock. Okay, what do you want to do? I'm going to click on Queue Special Order for 50. So I've requested 50, 0 are on order, 0 have arrived shipped. Okay, they've been given a status of not on PO. So now I've communicated with the purchaser, hey, I need 50 of these, okay? And these 50 items have been given a status of, okay, we know you need these. Nothing has been done with them yet. They're not on a PO. You can also make a comment to the purchaser. Now, the expected date column can autofill. If there's a supplier that you know usually brings in product by a certain date, this can auto-populate. Right now, I'm just going to throw a number in here so we can see it for demonstration purposes down the road. And that's it. We built up a sales work order. So we have items that we need to order in, and we have items in stock. Now, from here, I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to talk about some lighting specific features, and then I'm going to move into a different role. So I'm right now, I'm the salesperson. I'm your designer. I'm the person working with the customer, building up the order. I could have been doing this in Lights America, Exologic. I could be doing this with Windward. Any of those are perfectly fine. And I've created the sales work order where I need 50 of an item, but I also have some items in stock. So we're going to talk a bit about some of the features that Windward has about partial shipping. We're going to talk a bit about how we can make really complex orders, and I'm going to talk a bit about how we can manage kind of some of the more difficult things of the business, but do it really easily in the software itself. So thing to touch on, thing one to talk about, our lighting tab. Well, what is this? Well, this is a kind of shortcut tab that gives you information about the job you're working on, the address, any standing PO information, that type of thing. It shows you, for example, your allowances. So one of the things that a lot of showrooms will do, some showrooms, not all, is they will have allowances that they give owners to come in and purchase product. Well, in Windward, we can actually set an allowance limit. So, for example, in our software, we do have the ability to set an allowance of, let's say, $1,000. If the customer from the contractor will pay that amount. Okay. If the customer comes in and we have that allowance, okay, and we were to invoice this, it can actually split the bill out down the road where the contractor is billed for the $1,000 that they've put in there, and then the customer has to pay the difference from what they've purchased. So we do have contractor allowances in the software. You can also see, for example, we have our delivery date here, and we have confirmations of whether that's confirmed or not and all that jazz. So this is kind of a lighting contractor specific tab, just kind of help you manage the job number, where it's going, and whether there's any split billing that has to be done with the contractor or not. Another feature to talk about that we help manage businesses with, you've seen room tagging locations on the left-hand side. In Windward, we can do really complex sales. So if you're doing a condominium build, or let's say you have multiple fixtures in one room or multiple items in one room that maybe you don't want to tag individually, we do have the ability of layering an invoice as well. And when you layer the invoice, the information you send to the customer can be completely different. So for example, maybe you want a quote on a room, but you don't want to show the customer what the specific line amounts are. We can do that. We can manage that in software. Finally, I want to kind of dig in very briefly into our inventory records and talk a bit about some of the features that are there that might be lighting specific. We're going to keep it short. There is a lot of information here and we are short on time, but a couple things to talk about that are worth noting. So I've just hit inventory and gone into this inventory record. But a couple things that are worth noting is, of course, you can have your different descriptions. You can have different highs and lows for your products. Your highs and lows can be seasonal. For your bulk purchases or things that are ordered by pack, you can set up pack sizes, room tagging locations, etc. You are going to be able to set up multiple price levels. Those price levels can be set up as discounts, or they can be set up as margins, or set up however you want them to run. They can be fixed pricing. You can work off of IMAP if you want to. So again, that's part of your implementation process, is kind of deciding what your pricing model looks like. And you also have the ability of having multiple part numbers for the same inventory item. This doesn't seem like much, like it seems like kind of a simple thing, but it will save you a lot of time. What this allows you to do is, if there's any items you might be able to order from different suppliers, same inventory item, couple suppliers you can get it from, you can have both suppliers listed, both their part numbers listed, and their individual prices. And Windward, if you type in either of their part numbers or scan either of their barcodes, are going to point you to the right inventory record for that item. Just keeps things a little bit cleaner than what you probably have today. Okay, so from here now, we left off, we're building a work order. Oh, sorry, before I jump over, one more thing. We do have some items here that we can ship today. So in Windward, we can actually do partial billing. So we could take these items, okay, and we could do something we call block and move. And we can decide that maybe the customer is leaving the shop today with these three items, or maybe I'm delivering these 3 items today. I can easily click on block and move to a new invoice, okay? And what this will do is we'll move these items I've highlighted over to a linked invoice. So our work order today is probably work order 0001. It would move it, let's say, to 0001A. So you can partially ship, and there would be notations between both invoices like, okay, this was originally started on this work order. So you can do partial shipping and billing in our software as well too. So if, let's say, the customer wants to take these, they could, and you can wait for the next 50 to come in to complete the other portion of the order. Now, we've covered a lot here in the last 15 minutes, so I'm going to move to purchasing here. But if there's any questions on this, again, feel free after the webinar today to set up a time to talk with me. I'd be happy to go over that with you. Okay, we're just going to save. Now I'm switching roles. I'm no longer a salesperson building an order. I'm someone completely new in your company, and I haven't talked to the salesperson that just wrote that order. I'm sitting down, I have a cup of coffee, and I want to actually build my orders out for the day. So we're going to go and click on purchases, and we can either create a new purchase order or we can run what's called a required orders report. Now I'm going to start with the required orders report, talk to you a bit about what that's for, how that works, and then I'm going to pivot and show you how we can create that purchase order with the items you need for that customer from a purchase order as well. So our required orders report is extremely powerful. What this does is it looks at all your highs and lows. Okay, so those could be seasonal. As I mentioned before, you can have different seasons of highs and lows. It looks at all your special order items. It can be run based on sales over a date range. And it's going to give you suggestions on what you need to order in. Now, you can run this for one supplier, or you can run this for a range of suppliers. I'm going to run it for all. Okay. And at the top of the screen, you're just going to see it's going to show all the suppliers that have items that are needed. Okay, listed up top here. So right here, for example, from General Electric, I need a 100-watt bulb, and I need a 90-watt floodlight bulb. Down below, we mentioned earlier on in the inventory record that I can have different people I can order product from. Here's an example of it. It's going to show me I can also order this from Windward Software. But you can also see that Windward Software's price for this item versus General Electric's is a little bit more expensive. So this is now as a purchaser, I can start making decisions about, okay, well, I'm trying to make freight here. I'm trying to get my inventory items in, get free freight, get the product to arrive. I might order this from Windward Software Incorporated instead today, just so I can make freight and save all the money on the other end of things. So you can start making decisions like that. It will also show you what's needed for special order and who is needed for special order as well too. Now at any point on this screen, I can create all these POs, kind of review them, create them all, or I can create a single PO. So by clicking that button there, create purchase order for Globe, I'm going to create a purchase order for Globe lighting. Or if I create all POs, I'm going to mass produce all these POs and then be able to review them and send them off separately. So really kind of consolidating things for you. But for today, because I want to pivot, I want to show you another way we can look at things, I'm going to create the PO on a different screen. Now, this is one of the things about Windward that is absolutely amazing. After 40 years of being in business, Windward has realized that we don't know everything and not every customer does things the same way. So sometimes, quite often in Windward, there's more than one way of doing things because we've learned from our customers. We've taken their feedback, we've taken their advice, and we've built the software out to be reflective of a more easy experience for a showroom owner to go through. And this is one of those examples. So that required orders, I could have ran that and generated a PO. That's kind of a two-step thing. Or instead, I could just know that that Thursdays are my days that I'm doing a Globe order. I can create a brand new order for Globe, click on it, and then if I want to know what I need to order in, I just click on orders. And there's that halogen fan sitting right there. So even by just creating a new PO for Globe Lighting, it's showing me, hey, here's what your customers have ordered from Globe Lighting, and I can add those to the PO. I can also take a look at my highs and lows. Now, I just listed off all parts to make this easy, okay? But any highs and lows that would have been here, I could have listed suggested orders that would have came up, and I can select them, and I can add those to my PO as well. Okay, so obviously here there's some brass halogen fans I need for stock as well too. So actually ask me to order in. I'll just put a couple in here anyways. Let's go 10, throw some numbers on. Okay, now the PO is still not sent. So quite often, okay, a PO can be created and then you can leave it open while you're trying to build up and make freight. That's perfectly fine, okay? As a purchaser, they will have that ability to do so. For our demonstration today, I am actually gonna hit send and get that PO off. So we're now gonna communicate this PO to our supplier. And a couple things to kind of note before I hit that send button. You do have the ability of putting in extra costs on the PO, so any duty or freight or any kind of charges you might be receiving to kind of affect your landed cost of the product, you can put that on the individual lines or distribute that across the PO as well. Okay, but I'm going to send the PO off. Now I want you to see here, kind of really drive home the fact I haven't printed a thing out. I haven't done a paper copy. I haven't double entered anything. I've literally just hit new PO, added the items I needed, and they're there. One of the biggest struggles that I see with showrooms is tracking where in the sales process their POs are. Have they arrived yet? When are they coming in? We have a specific report for that. Earlier in the demo, you saw me queue up the PO and a status came up saying not on PO. When I created the PO and I put the items on it right now, you didn't see it, but it actually changed the status for that item I need to order in for Smith's Construction to on PO unsent. And when I hit that send button, it changed the status to PO sent but not received. So I'm actually going to look up a report now that can help you track where in the sales process your actual purchase orders are. So bear with me here. Special orders. And here we're going to hit view. And so here you go. Smith Construction, okay? They have the halogen, brass halogen fan. You've ordered 50, none have arrived. I expect them on the 7th of February. They're gonna come in sooner, but that's the expected date. If at any point, if I need to double click on this, I can go into that work order or that sales work order and see what's going on with the whole order itself, but it comes right up. There's a status assigned and you can track that. Now you can run this report for items at certain stages. So if you want to see what's outstanding, you can put this in for things that are waiting to be ordered, or you can run this for certain salespeople or specific customers, whatever you need to do. Okay, but this report will help you track where in that process these items are. Okay, back to purchasing. So let's fast forward. Let's pretend the items have now come in and arrived, and you need to receive them in the stock and get them on the work order they belong to. Okay. So we're going to hit edit receiving PO. We're going to hit globe lighting. Here's the PO. Now, again, for the sake of the demonstration today and timing, I'm going to receive the whole PO, but you do have the ability to receive the PO and put it on a back order status. But a couple things to touch on. First off, the items that are coming in for special order, you can print off labels in our software that have the customer's name and information on it. So immediately as your receiver is bringing in the back, you can be slapping on a label saying, hey, this is for Jim Andrews, Smith's Construction, Jim Andrews built. Okay. The other thing it allows you to do, so shipping labels print off and sent on and put aside. This will get you on the staging side of things going. And then when you go to receive the product in, you do have the ability of putting a packing slip number in, clicking on receive. Okay. And your actual receiver will be able to see a report that shows what's for stock and what's being received for a specific customer. Now that inventory right there, those 50 halogen, brass halogen fans have been received and automatically allocated all the way back to that work order I started beforehand. It's done, it's been received. I don't need to do anything else. I can print off that add stock report. The other thing that's happened is in our software, it's flagged that order as having been received. So now if I were to go look up that work order, which we'll do right now, it could be assigned a subtype, which flags it as, hey, look at this, there are some items in. So we're gonna double click. And we're moving in from purchasing now to fulfillment. All the items have come in. We talked earlier on about partial shipments. okay? All the items are in. You can schedule delivery at this point as well if you want to. We do have, I'm not going to show them today, but we do have a full delivery calendar in the software, so we can schedule and block off a delivery time for dropping things off. You can actually schedule loader reports, so you can kind of get ideas for loading things in the back of the truck if you are doing deliveries, that type of thing, okay? And to invoice this item, all you have to do is click on invoice type, accounts receivable. This is giving me a warning about a credit limit. I am going to override it. And now this has gone from a sales work order to an invoice. I'm going to save and close. And that is how we take one, a sale from the point of sale to the back end. So there are multiple other facets I can show in the demonstration today. We talked earlier on about it being an integrated solution. Windward is integrated. That sale has now posted, which means it is in your accounting. We can run your general reports, like your profitability reports. We can run your trial balance and your balance sheet, and those numbers are all going to be posted and up to date now currently because we've just completed that transaction and sale. There's also a link between accounts payable, so your bills, and the PO. So we can add a bill separately at a different time and link it to an existing PO that's there. So there is a whole integrated, back and forth where you don't have to worry about batching information into a separate accounting system. Everything is in one spot, easy to find and easily linked together, okay? But rather than demonstrate that today, I'd like to take a moment and talk about some of the things that we've done over the last 40 years and kind of where we're going as a company. First off, Windward has been doing this for quite a while, and we've developed some very strong partnerships in the industry. Windward is partnered with the major buying groups in the lighting industry. We are a member of the American Lighting Association and have been for decades. We work with Exologic, we work with Lights America, and these relationships aren't new. We've had them for years. So currently, even today, we talk about how we can revamp and upgrade and do something new with the product and the programs. Our teams from Exologic and the teams from Lights America work with the different departments at Windward Software as well. Talk to our trainers, we talk to our developers. There's a strong relationship and presence in the lighting industry that no other company can actually boast for. As a company, some of these features you've been seeing here today have been around for quite a while, and we've built on them and we've done little tweaks here and there to make them better. Features that I can't even necessarily see have been changed as new versions of software come out just to make things a little bit smoother, and they just kind of get rolled in as time goes on. So being a Windward customer means you have these updates available to you that you can keep growing and progressing, and your software will progress with you. Now, Windward has moved into the mobile world. Obviously, what you're seeing here can be either locally installed or you can actually have Windward in the cloud. But we're starting to move more and more to cloud reporting as well. So that means things like dashboard reports. This is our Windward Intelligence program. Windward Intelligence takes information directly from Windward, so you can run reports from a phone or from a tablet and see it basically right on your screen, and you can crunch the numbers in a more, I would say, touchscreen friendly format. So today we have hundreds of reports in our software. We have reports designers in our software. We have the ability to export to Excel. Now we have the ability to push up sales reports specifically into a kind of more dashboard format where you can easily crunch numbers. For example, this says from 2017. I'm going to run a report now all the way back to 2016, and you can see how the numbers changed instantaneously. Windward Intelligence has been around for about a year or two, but we've been building and doing more with it, and there are more reports coming out for this as well too. So today we have sales reports available, gross margin, sales by category, that type of thing, so you can easily crunch those numbers and drill down and see that in a kind of very grid-like and a very touchscreen friendly like kind of format. But there is more happening with Windward Intelligence today, and we actually also do build customer reports for specific customers with this application as well. The other place where Windward is going is mobile ordering and mobile inventory lookup, that type of thing. Just reload the page. This is called Windward Sidekick. Now, Windward Sidekick is the ability to kind of look up inventory records, pricing, and to generate estimates, not sales, estimates on the fly. Now you're seeing this on a computer screen right now. I'm just reloading my screen and logging in. So, but this can be done on a cell phone or a tablet. It really is a scalable screen. that will be able to you'll be able to look up inventory parts and create orders from on the fly. Just waiting for the screen to load. Bear with me. All right. And it's very simple. You can scan a barcode with the right device. You can search a part number or look up a category, type in a description. And again, right now I'm doing this on a computer screen on a web browser, but this can be done on a cell phone. So you can be out in the field or even walking in through the store with someone and looking up an inventory item, getting prices, and then building up a cart where people can actually go and build up an order. Let's see if there's any items in here today. We'll throw a couple items on here. This is great if you're walking around the showroom, you know, today currently, and you have a cell phone. The customers, oh, I like this fixture, I like this fixture. You can scan those tags, build up that order, and then submit that into Windward as an estimate, and then review, do what you need to do, and turn it into a sales work order. This ties directly into Windward, which means your in-stock is accurate and your pricing is accurate. It updates regularly. And it's a place that we can build off of. So, you know, today I'm showing you part find and being able to build an order and then submit that to Windward. Down the road, more and more features are going to come out for Windward Sidekick. This is a platform that we plan to build on, and we plan to go different directions with as well. So mobile and being versatile is the future of where the company is going down the road. That pretty much concludes the presentation I have for today. I'd like to take the time to pass it over to Kyle and yeah, see if there's anything else you'd like to cover off with us before answering any questions.
All right, thanks, Sean. It was a great presentation. You kind of landed on System 5 Sidekick, so that's the first slide I've got here. Of course, you covered most of this. So there's a part find function and order builder function available there. You also covered off that we have industry integrations. So the Lights America and Exologic integrations work similarly, but there's a couple of nuances that are a little bit different between the two. Got those up on the screen right now for you. And then we're going to be at Lightivation, and we actually are grand opening a new showroom there. So we do have a showroom on the 4th floor in the Trade Mart. It's TM 4931. We moved from a different location, which is not important where that was because now it's 4931. Walk-ins, of course, are encouraged. And if you're going to be there at Lightivation, you can actually schedule time with us. If you just go to windwardsoftware.com/lighting, there's a drop down at the very top of the screen that's going to say schedule an appointment at Lightivation. We are going to have some pretty aggressive show specials because it is our grand opening and our 40th year anniversary. As new, if you sign up new to Windward Software, we're going to have a promotional price for you available in the showroom. You'll have to show up to find out what that price is going to be, though. All right, and then this is just kind of a recap of what Sean covered there, and we'll open up for questions and answers. If there's anybody out there that has a question, just go ahead and type it into the Q&A section of the webinar software there. And of course, there's the email address is sales@windwardsoftware.com. And if you have any questions, you can always do that as well. Some questions come in here.